I think it's really important that now Microsoft in this new wave, they're giving us a company hub. So now we could control in group companies where we have a lot of companies in the same instance, we could control better as finance accountants. They could see how many entries they have to post, and they can have an overview of all the companies in one place. That this is amazing, but there's also another amazing thing we have, and it will be very soon available to our customers, the group VAT. So now our customers that they are under the group VAT, they will not have to create journals and copy or upload entries in the parent VAT company. They're giving us the functionality to characterize the parent and child, have the parent-child relationship between companies, and then we can transfer VAT entries and VAT results to the parent company. So this is really important, especially in our UK customers, that they have to submit the MTD and they have to submit the VAT returns through MTD. So this is really nice. Ian, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that I'm looking forward to most coming into it are scheduled to be released in 17.1, which is coming in the next couple of weeks. First is a platform update, and Microsoft are going to give you more granular control over the database. So you'll be able to, if you ever needed to, you'd be able to restore the database to any point in the last 30 days. Microsoft are using the power of the Azure SQL and the transaction log backups to enable that. But you can also restore your production database into a sandbox at any point in time. So if you're wanting to play around with your data from 2 weeks ago, for example, in the sandbox, Microsoft are enabling that scenario for us. And a bit more on the front end side, they're also working a lot on the email story in Business Central. At the moment, all emails that are sent by Business Central just come from one account. So it would be like, purchase at yourcompany.com or sales at, but they're extending that to allow emails to be sent from each user who's logged in, or from, if it's a sales document, you can send it from sales at company.com, or purchase document could be at purchases at company.com. So they're really working on the email story, and we always get questions from customers that, why do all my emails have to just come from one address? So again, this is one of the things they've looked at in the 47 issues that they've addressed in the last wave release. It's going to be a real big boon for customers on the front end.
Great. What about you, Sam?
I really have three things. One is the performance toolkit, and this gives us the ability to help the customer test their system and stress their system by running scripts which utilize number of users, number of operations, etc., etc. So we can see the effect on the database and whether pages start to slow, tables start to lock up, etc., etc. And that leads on to the second thing that Microsoft have introduced in this 47 items, and that's the ability to define retention periods for log files. So not only for the log files sitting on the Azure, but also log files in Business Central, so your change log. And as you know, the more fields that you map and you follow, the slower your database will become, because it's constantly doing a read write in and out of those log files. So that was two things, and coming up in the next few weeks is the ability to utilize the change log in a much better way. Previously, it's been very, very passive. So you define the fields that you want to watch. So that could be something like a vendor bank account. But then you would have to go into change log and query it to see if there have been any changes. Microsoft are now introducing the ability to add in notifications for anything you deem to be a high risk change. Mm-hmm. So if somebody changes a vendor bank account, the system will email whoever you define, or a distribution list, whatever whatever you define, and you can take action on that immediately and not sit there wondering about what's happening to your data behind the scenes. And you can apply that to any field or table that you deem is high risk for your business. So I think that I can see some real benefit to that going forward.
Definitely. Do agree too. Andrew, what do you think?
So when we looked at the 2020 Wave 2 features a while ago, we were really pleased to see support for unlimited number of production and sandbox environments on there. Previously, you were limited to 3 environments. And if you wanted different localizations, then that was effectively your limit of localizations. And we had one customer who had some tens of localizations and had to scatter them across separate online services tenants. Now you can bring them all together, put multiple production environments in. You have to pay for the additional environments. We had to wait quite a while to find out what the cost of those was going to be, but that was a real big advantage. I mentioned the connector between BC and CDS earlier as well as the thing they continue to improve. 2020 Wave 2 improves a couple of things on it. One of the things it improves is the resolution of synchronization conflicts. Customers in BC are connected to accounts in CDS, and if you change both sides, then when you look at it in BC again, you get a bar across the top that says there have been changes both sides, click here to resolve them. It's now far more granular on the fields that it worries about, and so you'll get a lot less of those conflicts, and there's a lot less work to do on that. They're also adding another button that will let you reset some of the mappings back to their defaults. So we occasionally change some of those mappings on the deployments we do with the connector. There's a particular field that by default is synchronized, but we actually don't want it to be synchronized because we're keeping them separate in 2 places. If you make enough of those changes and haven't documented them properly, there's now a button to go put them back to how they were to start with. These are kind of sandbox type things. You like to think you know what your mappings are by the time you get into production, and you're not going to want that button there. But certainly in a sandbox where you're testing and refining exactly which way each field should go, they're adding another button there. There's small improvements in the connector.